joined the Antisocial Network.
Yeah. Mask up, stay 6 feet apart.
Yeah, right. All right, here we go. Another fantastic episode of We have a very distinguished guest. Not all of our guests have wiki pages, so we like to point that out when we have a prominent person or a VIP on with their own wiki page. But today we have Larry Beckett, who is a man of many talents.
I can
poet.
make you a wiki page, Phil.
Well, just go ahead and do that. Then that'll give me some cred whenever I guess on someone.
How about a
else's pod.
YeahUhH wiki page?
There you go.
Feel
But
free to put in ridiculous things that are absolutely, totally, and completely true.
Poet, singer-songwriter, translator of ancient literature. Just a
Software developer, I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I made my money.
That's how I make mine.
Yeah.
So, welcome, Larry. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. And by the way, I like to say the name of your podcast as though someone were trying to make a point and you're going, yeah,
That's exactly the name.
Yeah.
When we first got married, instead of saying yes or I agree, I would say YeahUhH.
There you go.
When we got married, and
Yeah.
the minister said,
Like
"Will
who you
do?"
said, yeah,
I said YeahUhH.
Kind of a very
Nice.
cursory way. But now we have several ways that it's been interpreted. Another one was more of a slang. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Lisa's. So that's great. We're adding
We've
more.
got Southern friends.
Right.
There's even some rap song out there with that name. Did you
Oh
know
yeah,
that?
we'll have to look into that.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe the
And
new
Have them on.
We do the hyphens. When you search it on the internet, you have to use the hyphens.
That's not
And
my fault.
my thinking was every time you see someone say on a TV show and you're looking at the
How often do you see?
The
captions,
captions.
it's always dash on dash huh. So
That's
the
not
reason.
my fault.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
I
that's
didn't do that.
enough about us. But so Larry, you're with us here. You got a new album that's coming out, and people are excited
correct.
about that. And it's interpreting some work by someone I think that you admire, Jacques
Hi.
Brel.
He's showing
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Jacques Brel CD. It's coming out on January 9. There's already three singles from it with videos.
Mhm.
circulating.
Great.
Excellent.
And
Are
Jacques,
you in the videos?
yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Jacques Brel is the not to pigeonhole anybody, but the simplest way to think of him is that he is to Europe what Dylan is to America. All right. So like he's like a major singer-songwriter whose work really should be looked at in the province of poetry, not songwriting. Right.
Mm-hmm.
He does similar things to Dylan, like he'll have a stanza instead of 4 lines long, it'll be 16 lines long, and instead of 3 short stanzas making a song, which is typical, he'll have 5 long stanzas. So really ambitious in terms of the physical scope of these compositions. And they remind you very much of things like "It's All Right, Ma, I'm Only Bleeding." He doesn't write in the surreal manner of Dylan. He has his own style, and he was also a very passionate performer, and became beloved in France and his native Belgium.
Okay.
Were his songs primarily in French?
All of them in French, yeah. And but what he really has done is added some important work to world literature in terms of French literature. while being a singer-songwriter. And this is all in the late 50s, early 60s. He had one song, Nimakitpa, that was covered by a lot of people like Sinatra and Streisand, right? And but the sad part is that it was badly translated. Actually, it wasn't translated at all. They took the first line and mistranslated it, because Nimakitpa means don't go. It doesn't mean if you go away, as came in the Sinatra version. And not only that, I mean, after that, it's if you go away on a summer day, then you might as well take the sun away. And, while that's fairly obvious, that has nothing to do with the French. There's no sun,
Right.
all the birds, there's no birds. The song actually begins, don't walk away. We have to forget. It all can go. It's already gone. The times when we misunderstood, it's like this beautiful.
And that's way more French than.
Yeah.
Closer to "Don't Walk Away, Renee." Huh?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, so what I did was, I like to write the books that aren't there. So instead of doing something that has already been done and probably better. So
I understand you wrote a book that elevated the beats to literature.
That's correct, called Beat Poetry. It's the only book about beat poetry. All the rest include all kinds of depravity and drugs and so on. But mine just
the beat poems themselves contain that.
It includes the poems of each of the 10 best beat poets, and then my commentary on where they came from and where they went. Yeah,
that's something I'd be interested to read.
Yeah.
But this seems in a similar vein.
Then I found that this important French poet, there's no translation of him in English. So I translated all of his 150 or so songs over like a 3-year period. And then we took the best of those, and I'm collaborating with some musicians in Northwest England. And we put together a sort of internet band, and did the whole album. I sing on one, I recite 2, and then the other 11 are sung by my friend and collaborator Stuart Anthony. And that's what this album is, right? So kind of like bringing Jacques Brel.
So that's the English translation that you did.
Yes, all of them in my translation. Yeah.
So
and I'm sorry, what's the name of the album one more time, please?
It's called "Though We Have Only Love."
Okay. One
of his most famous songs.
Yeah, I listened to that. That was really beautiful. The challenge you have, it has kind of a maudlin kind of a flavor to it, and I liked the artwork that was in the video, and it was very the lyrics are very raw and engaging. So I really enjoyed that one. But people can go out to Spotify and listen to 3 selections off the album right now, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Now, are those the ones that have videos?
Yes, they all have videos. So that's the Song of the Old Lovers and a song called "I Love You," with me reciting and playing piano. And then "So We Have Only Love."
Yeah. Yes.
Now, where would you find those videos? Spotify or?
Oh, they're all on YouTube.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
But on December 12th, you're going to be, I guess, introducing the full album with an event, a live event on YouTube.
Yes, the local radio station, KINK FM, is sponsoring a brief, like half-hour concert, but I will be singing 4 songs from the album.
Awesome.
They're called Letters of Kink.
Simulcast and then reposted on YouTube.
Excellent.
Did you say they're KINK?
Yeah.
Excellent. Keep Portland weird.
Yeah.
Right. Portland weird, right?
Yeah, they've been there for
Yeah.
forever.
So your job is in translating these songs. You know, there have been attempts before, like you said, some that had not been effective in translating it, and that's a very arduous and diligent job, I think, to try to transmit not just the.
It's not just a mastery of French. It involves really the nature of the original text is that it's poetry and song fused, and if someone is just only a poet and tries to translate it, they might miss the song.
Or only a musician.
And if they are a songwriter and translate it, they might miss the poetry. But I'm both, so I'm in a good position to understand what he's trying to do in terms of the poetry, but also stay faithful to the rhythm and the sounds so that it can be sung.
Mm-hmm.
The meter.
Yeah, that seems like a very high art type of endeavor. I mean, it's like not to detract from either the musicality of it nor the lyrics, and to come up with something that is, you know, very.
How long did that take you to do all the translating and the song?
It was like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And how many songs?
Is
that 150?
150.
Wow.
Now, was this a labor of love, or was there a you know?
Yeah, all my labors are labors of love. I am looking for a publisher, and and if not, I have a publisher lined up for the whole book, which is 700 pages long, including the original French text. So yeah, and I'm in I've already done negotiations with the Brel estate, so they're cognizant of this project and approved.
So are you a Francophile, or you know, from Canada, or I mean,
I love all of it. It's not just France.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
no,
you've translated Chinese too, right? Did you translate like the Tao Te Ching?
Oh, so you're good at English. You're good at language, period.
Well, the thing is that, to be brief, there was a methodology of translation that evolved in the 1960s with Robert Lowell's book Imitations, and this is that instead of having a scholar translate a book of poetry, you should have a poet translate it. Now, the poet might not be an expert in the language, even at all, but they can consult literal prose renderings. They can talk to people who are excellent in that language, and based on what they learn, they can then write a poem that is equivalent to the original in its language. Okay, so now because in scholarly translations, while accurate, a lot of times you get through reading them and going, what is all the hubbub about? I got no artistic thrill of any kind from reading this. So you have to create a new work of art, and that's the way I did it. So I consulted numbers of translations of the Tao Te Ching, including Wing Tsit Chan's literal prose rendering, which helped me understand what the original was. And then I tried to make it come back alive in the new language.
Right.
Cool.
Well, this would seem to be something that AI would struggle with, the human element, the feel for the the spirit of the translation. You know.
Yeah.
AI is snake oil. I say it again.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Especially
have
for
to wonder
creatives.
if how the cadence of a work affects the translation.
Yeah, and the thing is that now in French, the only stress is on the last syllable, uh, uh, and so it's looser, and actually that gives you an opportunity in English to, but what I do is I match the syllable count, so when you're singing along the melody, then you and we, by the way, we in the album we're completely faithful to the original melody and chords. They're rendered in a sort of alt rock style, I would say, more contemporary. But other than that, it's the original music, and that was important. He's not that great of a composer, but his melodies are essential to understanding where he's going with the piece.
Fascinating.
Yeah, whenever poetry is paired with music, they become essential to each other.
Yeah,
I agree.
So when you talk about this symbiotic relationship between the music and the poetry, I read in one interview that you did that your relationship with Tim Buckley, that you guys often came up with your compositions and the lyrics separately and came together, and were actually kind of astonished by how much they seemed to, there wasn't a lot of tweaking that needed to be done to create a composition that much exactly what both of you wanted, which is like chemistry, you call that just
chemistry, kismet,
telepathy.
Elton John and his writing partner.
Right.
Yeah.
What happened was we had a little rock band called the Bohemians. This is in high school. And we came to a rehearsal, and I had brought new lyrics to a song called Grief in My Soul. And he had brought music just for any future song. And we found that they matched perfectly. And then so I said, I got these new lyrics. And he said, I got this new melody. They went together as though we had been working on the song for all weekend. And so at that point, we looked at each other and went, oh, okay, something is going on, and we need to dig into this. So we had a sort of telepathic understanding of each other's art all through
maybe
the
you're in each other's soul circle.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fascinating. You guys, did you go to school together? Was that?
Yeah.
Okay. So he was a very talented man. He's unfortunately not with us anymore, but you and he came up with several high-profile hits in the 60s. Song to the Siren.
Yes.
No Man Can Find the War, Morning Glory. I saw some video of Tim performing Song to the Siren, for instance. He was a very talented singer. Tell us a little bit about your relationship with him.
Well, the thing is that I don't, beyond Song to the Siren and perhaps Morning Glory, I don't think that our collaboration resulted in many memorable lyrics by me. He was already like a Caruso-esque brilliant singer, and I was just a starting out poet. So he was way ahead of me artistically. I think hopefully that I eventually caught up. And but if you look in my book that came out last year, Song to the Siren, this is 57 years of lyrics, all the lyrics I wrote since him, right? It has Song to the Siren, of course, but it has all the rest of the songs that many of which have been recorded by different singers and bands. And
what's the name of that book?
And I think my real work lies in those later songs.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
cool. Sometimes I'll ask a question.
Just Song to the Siren's going to endure.
Yeah.
That's something that's going to outlive you, and I mean, it's been covered so many times.
Yeah, hundreds of people have covered it.
It's got its own life outside of you now, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I saw Robert Plant.
Yeah, it's about his favorite song. He's done it.
That version from his album's amazing.
Yeah. He sings it live and introduces it like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly a favorite of Aaron and I. I saw quite a few people had covered it though. So
I watched the Tim Buckley video from, I guess it was the last episode of the Monkees.
Yeah.
And they just said, "This is Tim Buckley," and he just plays this, and there's no crowd.
I was there.
And it ends.
I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems out of character for a Monkees episode. There's usually zany shit going on.
Right.
Yeah, we were friends with those guys, and they felt that they were sort of a manufactured pop group to cash in on the Beatles. You know, the Beatles would come out with a song, and then the Monkees would come out with a lead guitar sounding suspiciously like George Harrison's.
Right. Mm-hmm. We saw Mickey Dolenz last year, and
they were ashamed of being sort of inauthentic musicians, especially Mike Nesmith, who really was a great.
He was the one that was a musician, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so in their last year of their stupid TV show, they at the end of each episode they would have some avant-garde music to kind of aesthetically justify the crap that went before.
I love the crap that went before. Yeah. Thank you very much.
He's a monkey. He's a monkey.
At least it was the audience.
And
I'm an aficionado.
In the very last episode, Tim got on, and interestingly, he didn't sing anything that anybody would recognize, but a song that had not even been recorded yet.
Yeah.
He was always like to be on the edge.
Interesting. I might seek that out. I watched the Monkees once. We saw Mickey Dolenz last year, and he interspersed the show with stories, which were really great because I always thought of them as like a manufactured thing, you know, like a TV band. And,
I never
but
did.
he did have a lot of stories about Jimi Hendrix and the Beatles, and you know, at least
I always thought they were musicians who got on a TV show.
Yeah,
no,
you thought wrong though.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Peter Tork ended up being a fairly famous musician. Mickey has not done badly for himself in the music industry.
Right. So just a quote that I plucked while getting ready for a show, Larry. Peter Beck, guitarist for REM, calls Larry's lyrics simple, heartbreaking, and altogether moving. And
that's the blurb from the back of Song to the Siren. Yeah, Peter Buck is a dear friend, lives in town in Portland. Really? And what happened was that how we got together was that my son's friend in high school, his dad was in a band, and I thought, you know, really? Okay. I like music. So I thought it wouldn't hurt if I listened to this band, which was called Eyelids. And I listened to their first 2 albums, and I thought, you know, this is sounds like the Byrds. Now I'm comparing them to the greatest American rock band.
Yeah.
So in the second album, they started to add harmonies, and I went and reached out to Chris Luzarenko and John Moen, who this is sort of their secret getaway band on the weekends, because Chris was in Guided by Voices, and John was in and still is in the Decemberists. But they would sneak away and play their own music on the weekends, and that's Eyelids. And I met those guys and said, I've been writing lyrics for 40 years, and they're all on top of the piano right over there. And if you want to set any of them to music, you're welcome to. I love your music. And actually, John then started to play a tune that he could not get lyrics to that was really nice. And as he's playing it, the words came into my mind.
Wow.
And then that night, Chris went home and took the song River and wrote splendid music to it. And so then that developed into a whole album called The Accidental Falls. And it's all my collaboration. The whole album is my collaborations with Eyelids.
Cool.
Like 13 tracks.
And is Peter Buck in that too?
Yeah. So, and Peter Buck produced.
Okay. I
was at every minute of every session, and one song I dredged out the last unreleased Becket Buckley song called "Found at the Scene of a Rendezvous That Failed." It had never been recorded. We just had the lead sheet, and so we got John Moen to sing, and I played piano, and Peter Buck played bass. And at the end, he was in tears after the take. And I said, "Peter, what's happening?" And he said, "This is why I got into music." So
compliment.
We're friends after that.
Imagine, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So is REM based out of
Athens, Georgia?
Georgia, yeah.
That's right. That's
why I was surprised. He's in Portland, but then I thought, well, they can't live in Athens, Georgia their whole lives.
You can read all about it. There's a new biography of REM.
I'd be interested in that. They were massive in the 90s.
Yeah.
They kind of faded away on their own terms, it seems.
Yeah, they did. I saw an interview with Michael Stipe not long after they disbanded, and he was just content with kind of living a bohemian lifestyle, kind of chilled.
Well, but Peter floats around backing different people. He's always there to jump in when Eyelids play, though, locally.
Very cool.
Great. That is cool.
But
some of your inspirations musically.
Yeah, I think if you compare the lyrics as poetry with the stuff I did in the 60s, that the stuff on Accidental Falls is much superior.
Well, and I think we grow over time. And if something's really good when you start, think about how much better you get after 30, 40 years of doing it.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Ideally.
And, things.
Yes, ideally.
Right. Well, I mean, so some of your inspirations musically, I saw that you were a big fan of an artist named Fred Neil. And
yes.
I didn't know much about Fred, but I thought maybe ask about him and maybe some of your other influences.
Yeah, one of the, well, it's hard to describe how much we loved Fred Neil in the 60s. Friends of mine were on his main album, which is called Fred Neil. The guy has this sort of baritone voice and unbelievably expressive artistry in his singing. And as a matter of fact, that Fred Neil album, I in a Mojo interview, I said it's like the Kind of Blue of folk rock. Kind of Blue by Miles Davis is an album where it has the unique quality that you can listen to it over and over and you never get tired of it. It never seems like, oh, I have so heard this last week. No, it seems like you're just hearing it again. Something about the brilliance of the improvisation keeps it forever fresh.
Yeah.
And it's not just me who has had this experience. Lots of people have. And this is why it's the best-selling jazz album of all time. Well,
right there.
Neil's album, which has Everybody's Talking and stuff like that on it, is like that. You can hear it and you can play it next week, and it's like, fine. That's fantastically beautiful. So, and I was so pleased because Fred actually in retirement in Florida read the Mojo article with my quote and talked about it, so that he got to hear how much we loved him before he passed. Yeah,
that's nice.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my favorite music's improvisational music, and they were all inspired by Miles. But Fish and the Grateful Dead are my two big.
Yeah,
I guess that effect is sort of like you're almost hearing a live performance every time. I guess, you know, it's kind of the sensory.
Yeah, well, yeah, different live performance every time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But I saw that you
I've
had
seen Fish 24 times and Grateful Dead 7.
I got to talk about that. You know, that concert that's coming up on December 12th here in Portland, but on YouTube as well. So everywhere. My sideman is a noted jazz saxophonist and also plays flute on some of the tracks.
Cool.
That's cool.
So it's a completely different sound, but we like it.
Jeff Damari would be interested to hear that, I guess.
Yeah.
Saxophonist friend.
Yeah, we'll make sure we can plug all your stuff at the end.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
We set aside time at the end for that purpose.
Yeah.
So this, but I want to know more about it though. This December 12th concert. It's not the Eyelids. It's another band.
The concert is just me and Tim Jensen.
Okay, a duo.
Yeah, and we're gonna do 2 older songs, and then 4 songs from the Brel album.
So piano and what, bass or guitar?
Just piano and saxophone.
Sax. No, you just told me sax.
Yeah. I mean, I sort of hit the bass notes in the piano.
Yeah.
That's how we do it.
We have an audience, a live audience, or?
Yeah, it's for a live audience.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Do you enjoy that? Do you enjoy performing live?
You know, the thing is, and that's a long story, but I'll make it short. And that is that I'm more or less coming out as a musician in the last year or two. In that, well, in the beginning, in let's say 1966, I couldn't sing, I couldn't hit a note, and I couldn't play guitar, and I couldn't play piano, and I was surrounded by brilliant musicians, which made me feel like even more sheepish, if possible, about performing anything for anybody. But I loved music with an astonishing passion, all kinds of music, every kind. So I studied all about it, and then when everybody was out of the room, I would try to sing and play, and maybe it wasn't so good the first 10 years or the next 10 years, but after about 30 years or 40 years, I got so I could hit all the notes, and I could play piano, and I could play guitar, rhythm guitar.
Cool.
And then an opportunity to perform came up, and I said, you know, I can't perform. Those guys are the musicians. I'm just a poet. And my wife said, no, you're a musician. So she had heard me cross the line. And so then I've done a few gigs, like a house concert or a book launch, and played and sang with great reaction from the audience.
Very cool.
How good I got I don't pay a lot of attention to the audience, kind of like Miles Davis, but I got a standing ovation, but I had to be told about it.
Yeah.
Didn't even notice.
Excellent.
Focus.
Yeah.
And sometimes when things don't come naturally to you, you do focus harder on making it, like, I'm tone deaf and I don't have the best singing voice.
Yeah.
But I still love to sing.
One thing like singer-songwriters, you think about
like detriment.
You think about like Bob Dylan, like if he would have been like, well, I'm going to predicate whether or not I'm going to be strictly a songwriter or if I'm going to be a performer based on the feedback I get from people when I sing to them, people might have told him to stick to songwriting.
Yeah, because it doesn't normal, ordinary.
It's not the classical voice that you think about as a singer.
But you know who I think is the architect of all this, and that's Pete Seeger. Pete Seeger, who I met, wanted everybody in the world to sing, even if you're off key. It didn't matter so much. What mattered is you loving the song and passing it on and bringing the world into song. And that's why he got audiences to sing along with him. And that principle, I think, inspired Dylan and me and everybody else that we should all be singing one way or the other. It just seems right.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes a while, I guess. But I think of that. Remember, we did we had Heather Schafter on, and we did an Elite Eight, and Pete Seeger won our Elite Eight, and we played that If I Had a Hammer. Remember,
Yes.
we had everybody in the whole auditorium was singing with him. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't let your own inhibitions. Although I should be one to say, because I do let my own inhibitions control my actions. But not there's Tom Waits out there. There's Bruce Springsteen. Some people don't like his singing voice or whatever, but they sing with conviction and joy.
Sure.
So
and people kind of opened up after Dylan. It was obvious that anybody could.
All bets were off.
Yeah, right.
Amen, baby.
Now, I was listening to
something special in his delivery, I must say.
Yeah. There can be a difference between a performer and a singer.
Yeah.
I like his normal delivery better than the lay croony stuff that he did.
Yeah, that was pretty weird. Him trying.
I didn't realize that was him.
Lay across my big brass bed.
Yeah.
Lay across my big brass.
Yeah, right.
I must have heard a different version of that.
North Country Fair too. When he sings on that, that's similar. That's the same voice.
Similar thing, yeah.
When the duet with Johnny Cash. Yeah.
Yeah. Funny thing is,
but okay, so Aaron,
that he created different voices. Like if you listen to previously not yet released recordings of Dylan at home in Minnesota, he has just a sort of a normal baritone high school boy voice, not anything special. Then he went to New York City, to meet Woody Guthrie and all this stuff. And he came back, and now he's singing like this.
Yeah.
You know what? And talking like that, like he's created a whole character, this hip singer character with a different voice than he actually had. And then he records a whole album that way. And then he goes into concert and sings that way. And then after a few years, he changes his voice to something else. That was supposed to be the country pie sound or whatever it was he was trying to do.
Yeah.
But if you hear, there's an early concert recording, live recording, I think at Gertie's Boat City, where he sings Barbara Allen. And he's singing in that lay lady lay voice. See, he had it up his sleeve the whole time and didn't trot it out till he decided in '69, well, I need a new voice and a new persona. So now I'm going
in my pocket
and farm and raise kids and sing country songs, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's creating personas as fast as he's writing songs.
I remember in the liner notes from Highway 61 Revisited, he wrote something about he's not really a singer. He practices the art of nasal voice control or something like that.
Yeah, tonal voice control.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I saw him 2 summers ago. Is that when we saw Dylan, Lise?
Yeah,
country.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saw him in 88, 87 or 88.
88.
Yeah, because last year we saw Weird Al.
Right.
And the year before that was when we saw the Outlaw Country Tour.
We've been loading
Your
up
annual
on
concert. You go to one a year.
Just about.
Pretty
Well,
much.
no more than that, but like one bigger one where we spend a little bit more money and we either go out of town or it's at a venue that's kind of hard to get home from. So they stick out in that respect.
It's better than the Nun we did for so many years.
Right.
You know,
A lot better than the Nun.
No, we did abandon the Bad Religion Social Distortion concert that we bought tickets for. I feel bad about that because I would have liked to seen that, but we tried to make our rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So my favorite contemporary group and our most recent concert is Swell Season.
Okay. Swell Season.
Glenn Hansard, the Irish singer-songwriter, and Marketa Erglova, who's like a Romanian classical pianist.
Okay.
And their first album called Swell Season, I consider a masterpiece. And also they reunited after splitting and their new album is Sublime when we went to see them too.
Cool.
Nice. Nothing like live music.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot of fun. So Aaron is a huge Zappa fan, and I was listening to your interview. I can't think of the man's name, but it was very cerebral interview. It was very, very musically informed interview. But he did allude to the fact that you and your band was in Hollywood, going down Sunset Strip, and you had some interaction with the Mothers of Invention. So I was wondering, did you know Frank or?
Yeah, the closest I got to knowing him was I was thinking about that this morning. Is in New York City in like '67. Tim was rehearsing, was going to open for Zappa at a concert, and Zappa was there, and Tim got up on stage and sang our epic song Goodbye in a Low, and Zappa said I love that.
Awesome.
So
Nice.
we have great respect obviously for him, and so that was a real compliment.
Yeah.
Was it like doo-wop, or what was the style of the song? So I know Frank loved doo-wop.
Goodbye in a Low is an art song in which each verse has its own chords and melody.
Oh,
and then,
yeah, he would have loved that.
Then it has a refrain and it tries to look at the different antinomies in American life and then create a fusion that leads forward. So it's an interesting song. It's clumsily written by me, but ambitious, I'll say that.
I love ambitious rock music.
Right.
Check it out.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, we just did Bongo Fury, and Aaron is reintroducing me to some music that he's long been a fan of, and we still probably got 15 or 20 albums left that he wants to share with me. We do these episodes called Aaron's Audio Audibles.
Yeah,
it has to be a full album. Phil has had to never have heard the entire album before.
Well, you should do The Accidental Falls.
Accidental Falls.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll dig it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we were thinking you might like to be on. The format of the show is each of us on the episode listens to the whole album and kind of lists the songs in like favorite to least favorite.
Yeah,
And that in no way
We
means
might
the
have to
least
not rank.
favorite is a
There's nothing I love more than being judged by people I
Yeah.
don't even know.
Well, and that's why we wouldn't necessarily want to have you on the episode. We do your album. But
Yeah.
and I will say this much, on most of the albums, the least favorite is still a song we enjoy.
I see.
It's
Right.
just a matter of 1 to 10, not like, ew, I hate that.
Well, and we like to think it's an apparatus to discuss the music, not
Mhm.
necessarily the
Yeah.
binary part is just the gimmick kind of, but really it's an opportunity and a space to discuss the music.
Yeah, we
It
talk
just
about
probably
you know,
Phil's
why
first
we like
Beefheart
song A
exposure.
over B. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah, that voice is hard to forget.
I was thinking Kind of Blue by Fred Neil.
Or Fred Neil.
Kind of Blue by Miles Davis.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was thinking that Kind of Blue was
Well,
by
I
Fred
think we'd have a
Neil.
real challenge on our hands to do the Miles Davis, because then we got to describe and talk about what we like about the instrumental composition. That it's very dynamic and
Never mind.
Well, we could do
Yeah,
it.
he introduces modal music, which is instead of like normal jazz, you have a song with the chords and a melody, and then you play that, and then you improvise over the chords and using fragments of the melody, and then you come back at the end and wrap it. But and like all jazz before Kind of Blue was like that. Kind of Blue is modes. So a mode is like a selection of notes on the keyboard. Like the key of C is a mode with 7 notes in it, but you could choose other notes. And what happened was that Miles chose modes like mode number 1, mode number 2, and here are the notes in those modes, and mode number 3. And then it would just turn over to Coltrane and say, okay, play using only those notes. And then at the end, do the same thing, do with the second mode, and so on the third mode, and then come back. And each of the band members would play that way, called modal music. It was a completely reinvented what jazz could even be. I mean, it's not enough that all they're playing was and improvising was brilliant, but he has to be reinventing jazz. So,
Yeah,
so
you have to really practice listening to each other.
That would really help if you're going to be discussing it. I don't think the songs on that particular album can be ranked. They're all one.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of. But you're saying he's kind of brought some structure to a structureless form a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's interesting, because that's the biggest complaint. My boss is always saying he's very eclectic and fancies himself a music aficionado, but he's always saying, I don't like jazz because it doesn't have any structure. So I'm going to bring him.
I don't know why I don't care for jazz. I just don't care for jazz.
As I just said, the pre Kind of Blue jazz is theme and variations, and any classical trained person will know what that means.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, do you ever do classical music on this album review show?
We would.
We've not, but yeah, that's certainly on the. Everything's on the table.
That's where Phil would have heard more than I have. Probably,
right.
He's probably got the upper hand on me in classical music.
Yeah,
right.
Probably. Yeah, I used to take my lunch money and buy, cassettes at record
theater. Be listening to Die Fledermaus.
Right.
Yeah, your average high school student. In the
Stravinsky in there. That's good.
The Planets could be good. Gustav Holst, that could be good. There's some different.
But it's stuff you've heard, and that's.
Do you think it would trigger me?
Thing is it has to be.
Well, what if we do a flip episode and it'll be stuff you haven't heard, Aaron.
Yeah.
There you go. We can find some.
Much rarer fruit on the tree of life.
Well, we only got a few minutes left here.
Classical's where you're going to find it.
Yep.
Larry, I wondered, so I noticed that you've written long form poetry,
Yes.
like about Amelia Earhart and Wyatt Earp, and I'm kind of a history buff, so I was kind of curious where that creative energy comes from.
Yeah, that was a 47-year project, although at the beginning I didn't know it was going to take so long. But what I had in 1970, I had a vision of writing long poems about the lives of American heroes that wouldn't use plot or character. To me, those are literary devices that are most enjoyable and have already been done. So this is like Miles reinventing jazz. I was trying to look at different ways of organizing material than plot, and also expanding character, because I feel like people can't be reduced to a series of adjectives or typical actions, that they are clouds of potential. And I think that you feel that about yourself and don't recognize it in literature. So I was trying to do that. And I started out with Paul Bunyan, in which I wrote a 100-page poem that a lumberjack would enjoy. It was in their language, and read it aloud in a 3.5-hour performance, which is available on Spotify, for instance.
That's a long set.
Then I moved on.
Did you have a break?
Yeah, there was a dinner break in the middle.
Okay.
I can imagine.
But
You'd have been pretty hoarse at the end.
Homer and Shakespeare.
Yeah.
So I was trying to be in that vein. And then over the years, I wrote 10 book-length poems, including Paul Bunyan was published, then Amelia Earhart, and then Wyatt Earp. But there are also ones whose stories I invented, called Old California and Blue Ridge. And then there's a frame around it all called U.S. Rivers, where the rivers are the highways, in a true Kerouac fashion. And then I had the great good fortune that a publisher in L.A. Decided to put out the entire 10 books bound together in one volume, and that's American Cycle.
Oh, cool.
So it's an American epic poem. I said at the beginning that I like to write the books that aren't there. I couldn't find an American epic poem to match Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, or Dante's comedy. And so I decided it must be up to me.
Yeah. That's fascinating. I'd like to check that out. Like,
Yeah.
You know,
Here, I'll show it to you.
there's more to Amelia Earhart than just a distraction from the what, Aaron?
From the Epstein files. Yeah.
The Epstein files. Right.
Release the Epstein files.
Please release the Epstein files.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
So they're all in there. Okay.
Cover designed by my daughter, Susanna Beckett.
Yeah.
very
Beautiful. Family affair.
Yeah. So, actually, I'm dedicated to performance of poetry. So it's putting to me when you put it on a page, that's a text for performance.
Mm-hmm.
People can read it all right, but I prefer if they read it either out loud in their head or out loud in their room.
Right.
And every word in the epic has been performed and recorded and is on Spotify.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
So,
okay. So I might seek that out.
All streaming services, the whole thing, because that's so important to me, as it was to Shakespeare and as it was to Homer, that the language needs to be heard, needs to be encountered sensually. Otherwise, it's not poetry.
Right.
You can't really feel it.
Well, it's like the last time that I recall ever, like I don't do public speaking or anything like that, but the last time I've ever recalled even reading out loud has probably been high school. It's like it's an exercise we used to do all the time. We kind of abandoned it, and it brings different dimensions to the words to hear it expressed.
Well, when I'm writing, the test to see if the piece is ready is I read it out loud to myself. It has to. Yeah. It has to be right in the music of language.
Right.
That last album we did had 2 poem readings from Beefheart, right?
Yeah, it did, and we talked about
Showing Scalp Flat Top and
Muffin Man?
Man with the Woman Head.
Okay, Man with the Woman Head.
An example of beat poetry, we decided.
Sort of.
Yeah.
So this is a drive-in restaurant in Hollywood. So this is a drive-in restaurant in Hollywood. So this is a drive-in restaurant in Hollywood. That's the end of the second one.
All
right, Larry. It's been a fantastic hour. Kind of expected it to be.
Let's get all your plugs together here. So we've got
the new album. So we have Only Love.
So that's the English translation that you worked on for years.
Yep.
You can buy it on Amazon or download it. And then we have Song to the Siren, 57 years of songwriting, including an essay on the composition of Song to the Siren and extensive notes.
Cool.
On all the songs. And then American Cycle.
All right.
It's imposing, but if you read just 10 pages a day, you'll get through it in a couple of months. So that's all right.
All right.
And then
the American epic
cycle.
You have a website, LarryBeckett.com, I assume?
Yep.
Okay.
And can most of your works be accessed or sourced through your website?
Yes, actually everything. And then we have the concert coming up on December 12th that you can find on YouTube.
All right.
Very nice.
Excellent. We really appreciate your time.
You guys.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Larry. This has been
fun.
To
do it again.
It'd be a pleasure.
Yep.